Hello, dummies. As you can see, I've gotten some sort of Wally type of microphone, but it works a lot better for my needs. It's a lot more akin to a some sort of radio mic, so you get it real close to your mouth. It works a lot better than my last one, which seems to clip at every possible moment. So this will be nice, hopefully, going forward. This was actually from a dummy. Appreciate you guys. There's 9 of you now, so strength of number. Almost there. Soon we'll have a Senate of dummies, and we can vote on just whatever, nothing. There wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't. If you're a dummy, you don't care. That's the point. It's been an interesting week. I tried to record this earlier. The back of the microphone came unplugged, so you may see me checking that periodically, just pushing it in, making sure it's all plugged in right and everything. So that's been a little bit pissing me off because I recorded this yesterday, but it's okay. These things happen. It's been a better week though, and I've been feeling a lot better about myself, about work, and the things around me too. I haven't been as feeling out of control. I feel a lot more confident in myself and in what I'm doing. And that will fade. That will fade with probably 24 hours time. Tomorrow I may want to die. That's no one's fault. Don't worry. Not gonna kill myself. I'll let you guys be first to know. Promise. But no, we're good. We're good. Just how it goes sometimes. Been thinking a lot about just like my relationship with marijuana and how it started and the things that made me a kid, because I'm starting to grow up, and I have things where it's like I come home every night and I get high, you know. That's a thing I like to do, and I've just been thinking about like my past, how I used to get high. Like I would literally be in the basement of my house. It'd be either a Wednesday night or a Sunday night. And on those nights, my parents would be gone, so I could do whatever I wanted as long as everything was away. Then I could finally get back inside, try to act like I wasn't high by the time I got home. Usually, I'd be pretty fucking high still, but you could pretend. It was a lot of fun. I remember some nights, and I always wanted to overcomplicate things. Things were never exciting enough, so I needed some layer of excitement usually to add on to things. That was a lot of times, so I'd get caught up in like the Bible, whatever else, you know. Some people's lives aren't interesting enough, so like that's like QAnon. That's how that happened. I would be like if I was 15, I'd probably be a QAnon kid. That makes sense, like with what I had going on. But basically, yeah. So every night I would go get high because I was like, otherwise I'm going to kill myself. Like I just need to get high. I would eat. I'd feel so much better about life. It was the best. Could finally play video games and care. Oh, it was so good. And so what I would do to overcomplicate this was I would I couldn't open up the door. My house was like air suctioned fucking tight. That bitch was insulated and fucking sealed. But so when you'd open the door, shut the door, it would like fucking like suction and like fucking slam hard as fuck. So you couldn't go out the fucking door. So there's a few things I had tried. One was, so I had basically 2 basements. There was like a half basement and another half basement that went even deeper. The first level of the basement was like midway into the ground, so there were still windows above the ground. In the deep basement, there was like little windows that were probably like 8 inches wide. And so there was a few different things I tried. The first one was going into those windows that were 8 inches wide because no one would be coming downstairs that deep ever. And then smoking out of the ground like a diglet. And I would be out this window trying to smoke a bowl while my like abdomen is being like crushed by this 7-inch window, which is whatever. You get a little bruising, but you're high. You feel better. So the other one that I was trying to do, I just didn't want to get caught, was a lot of it too, is that I just wanted to be able to do what I wanted and not have anyone be on my ass. I didn't want to deal with it. Fuck getting into trouble, okay? I can get into trouble. I've been in trouble all the time forever, okay? But I didn't want somebody to be telling me what to do. I just wanted to do this the next night too. It wasn't about that night. It was about the night after and the night after that. Same reason I purchased in bulk, because I was going to be smoking no matter what. And so the next attempt what I had done is I had gone up to the first level instead of the second level, where I like sneaked into this like small fucking, I like snuck in there. Like I literally looked like it inviting Georgie down, except I was smoking a bowl out. So I was like, Georgie, help me, bro. Yeah, and then he actually just went home and told his mom, and then the police got called. So I would open up the screen and I would push it to the side. There was a screen and a window, so I'd pull the window down, I'd push the screen out, push it over to the side, step out very cunningly and quietly onto some mulch, sometimes with flip-flops, sometimes with just shoes. I didn't give a shit about anything. And then I would make my way around the side of the house, grab a shoebox that was behind a bush, open it up, and smoke. I'd walk like 10 or 20 yards over behind my neighbor's garage and smoke. Because I had hid the shoebox right under my parents' bedroom. Yeah, it was insane. It took a lot of work. I had to usually sneak around. Basically, like, I'd wait until like a certain time in the day. I'd grab the shoebox. I'd put it out there knowing it wasn't going to rain that night so I could go out there. Things like that. Because I wanted to keep it in my car because I was afraid they'd hear my car door slam. So I couldn't, of course, keep it in my car. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Well, I do. I was bored. I was sincerely bored. The same reason anyone smokes marijuana is because they're fucking bored. You understand? And life was annoying. Annoyingly boring. Where they'd, like, give you these worksheets and I'd be like, these things make me want to kill myself. And you don't understand. And you think to yourself, something's wrong. There's a chemical imbalance. It's boring. No one fucking cares. It's stupid. Don't fucking... Geometry makes everyone want to fucking die. Because you look at the world and you're like, nothing fucking... Geometry. Stupid. Nothing matters. You know? So... Now the issue though... Excuse me. Sorry. So the issue with climbing out the window to get high would be that it was also the front of my house and I was in the middle of a cul-de-sac. So what would happen is that the police that lived nearby and all around me would just drive by sometimes and be like, hey, that guy's climbing into a window, which is legal. Okay. but yeah, so I'd take out the screen, hide it around the corner, leave the window wide open for whatever animals wanted to get in, go smoke, and then come back. Just crazy the shit I would do to, like, get blitzed, you know? I remember, especially, oh, God. And you have a lot of fun things to do when you're a kid, but, like, especially, I started microdosing when I was young, so, like, God damn it. I'd end up at, like, work at, like... 7:30 a.m. crying, looking at the river because it's too beautiful or something. I'm like, man, I probably shouldn't have done this. There was one time I'd taken what was supposed to be a microdose before work, and I was a cashier at a sandwich shop. And so basically what happened is whenever you work at a sandwich shop is old people who vote Republican come in every day. And so you have to, like, learn to vibe with them, right? And I hate old people. I've always hated old people. They make me angry. Why are you still here? It's not, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to tell you can't, but why, you know? So I'm just wondering. Like, just name off something you contribute, you know? But that's fine. That's fine. And, basically had taken a microdose. Fuck, which story was I telling? God damn it. That's what I get. Oh, I had taken a microdose. Excuse me. I had woken up and I had just started to try to microdose. So I dissolved the tablet LSD in 100 milligrams of water. I measured it out. I put it into, not tap water, the fucking RO water, reverse osmosis water. So distilled water. That way it, like, would dissolve all the way throughout. If it tastes like something, spit it out. You don't want your psychedelics to taste like things. I think that's key information that people should be spreading. Test all your stuff if you do any of this. I'm not encouraging these things. Figure out life for yourself. Don't listen to anyone. I'm stupid. So just go forward with all four or five of those things, okay? But so I had basically I'd just been depressed ever since I was like 10. So I was like, fuck it. Might as well try some LSD. They say it helps you or whatever, you know? So I ended up, and I had also done some papers on, like, multidisciplinary association for psychedelic studies, which is MAPS is the acronym. But I had done a paper on how psilocybin containing mushrooms had been taken by people and microdoses and macrodoses and had actually taken away their anxiety of death, which is a lot of what I was trying to combat. A lot of times I would just be afraid to die, but I was so death obsessed because I'd always wanted to kill myself since I was young. It's a lot of just intertwining things that like you're so young you don't even know what's happening. But so I started microdosing. I woke up at my buddy's house. I'd been sleeping on the couch. I wasn't on the greatest of terms with my mother, but it was what it was, and so I decided to take a microdose of acid. I was laying on the couch. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I'm like, fuck it, we're just gonna get it out of the way. I saw it as a dose of medicine. I thought if I ingest this, it'll do its medicine, it'll work, and I'll just continue to move on. So I took it. I took like a tenth of it or whatever. Went to bed. Now the issue was that these were not the things that we get from our guy. Okay, normally what happens is you have like 2 or 3 guys that are the older brother of some guy you know, and he's got it and he'll sell it to you or whatever, and it's like 10, 15 or whatever, and you've only got 1 or 2 guys in the whole town or city or whatever that have it. Usually there's not a whole lot of people that just have psychedelics. It's hard to make a lot of money off them. They're usually a little bit bulkier. It spreads like wildfire. You have weird like psychedelic, not junkies, but like people will hit you up for 3 or 4 years after you stop selling it. It's just not worth it. But so we'd have this guy. However, my friends had just gone to their first music festival. Oh, yay, music festival, yeah. So they went to one of them. I believe it was, I don't know, summer camp, I believe is what it was. They called it scamp because they're all too high to put that many syllables in a word. But anyways, they had come back talking about tales of wooks and ketamine and all the tales of glory. And they had brought back some acid, some fire fucking acid, which I had underestimated. You're not, like they say under 75 micrograms you won't be hallucinating. So I had to be under 75. That said, though, if you divide it by 10, there's not going to be a dose that's made out of 750 micrograms. That's a huge dose. There would be no reason. However, having taken these from a place where people are trying to break through, making them extra strong and things, I had taken it. I had decided I would just go back to sleep. For whatever reason, in my dream, I remember like kind of not necessarily coming to, but just like being around. I'm like, oh, interesting. I was in the same place that the Squidward's like, alone, alone, alone. Like that place. Like I was in like, it was all white. And it was very cliche with like a door in front of me, just a wooden door, just natural. And I can hear somebody talking behind a door. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is fun. Let's, So I walk up and I can't understand it fully. So I'm like, okay, excuse me, sir. So I open the door. I'm like, what's happening? And it's this guy I watch on YouTube and he's talking to me. I'm like, oh shit. And now this is odd, but his name's Trump. It was like some Hearthstone streamer or whatever. I enjoy him. He's got autism or something, but he's a fun guy. And, So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, I'm not sure what's happening here. And all of a sudden, I don't even really truly wake up. I just kind of start functioning and realize he's on the TV, and he's no longer talking to me. So that was odd. I was like, fuck. Woo, woo. So you wake up, you kind of shake it off. You're like, okay, sorry, I didn't know you're... because you're like, I didn't know this is where we were going today. I wasn't sure what to expect with a microdose, so... I was like, all right, let's get the fuck home. So I started being like, let's just go home. You're going to have more fun at home. You don't have anything here. I'm at my buddy's house. I don't have any food. I don't have any. So I do what you shouldn't. And I get in my car and I start it up. And I start going. Now, when you take enough chemicals of some sort to disassociate from your vehicle, you can tell. Okay? There may be a time that you are too drunk to have the inhibition to stop you. But you are never at the point of, oh, this is just as easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a point, you're like, okay, this is pretty goddamn hard. I probably shouldn't be doing this, And so you start the car, and all of a sudden, you're just not... Usually, you're one with the vehicle. You hop in. I can back it up, go forward. I don't get in many issues. I haven't hit anything really ever. Unfortunately, though, so I start going. I get to a red light. I'm trying to find Chance the Rapper because I'm getting a little anxious. I'm afraid I have this very odd subconscious thing. Now, this isn't because I'm a dummy. This is because I'm actually insane. But I always have this thing where, like, I'm pretty convinced I could float off and never come back, and that something else will inhabit whatever this is. So I whenever you take psychedelics, you start to feel a little bit like you could. You start to go somewhere else, and you start to think, what's in there right now? You know? Because that's a thing that a lot of people talk about, like, where do you go to? But what's in you right then? Because you're not there. You understand? It's an odd thing. It's hard to describe unless you've done it. But it was one thing that always worried me. And so I'm staring at my phone trying to find Chance the Rapper just to play, I think it was Paranoia, something like that, his acid rap album, to make me feel better. And I got honked at. The light was red. It's been red. You're a fucking go, dummy, go. So I fucking beep, and I start going. I take a right where I'm not supposed to on purpose because I'm going to start taking the back roads. Good idea, dummy. Good idea. So just lay low. So I'm riding low. I keep going. I'm just going the speed limit. Now here's the problem. I don't have cruise control in this car. So like I keep going up and down, but I can't get the pedal right. It just doesn't work right. So I have to go over. I eventually go take a right. I pull over on a side road pretty far up. I eventually get back to my house after going through all these back roads of scary shit, everything. I was like, fucking finally we're here. I was afraid to get stuck. That's what I was very afraid of, is getting stuck and be like, well, now you're just tripping balls and you're stuck with your car here in the middle of the road, and somebody's gonna be like, were you tripping balls and driving? And I'd be like, no, you know. So I eventually got there. I don't recommend doing this. Don't drive on any sort of psychedelic LSD mushrooms. Get in a fucking VR chamber. You're golden, baby. Just get VR. It's so much better. You can crash like 8 million times and laugh it off. It's the best. But I had gotten to my mother's house and I decided, all right, we're good. I start to eat some food. I start to feel a little better. And my mother goes, dummy. And she starts talking to me. I look in the mirror. My eyes are this fucking big. Can't stay here today, baby. Not today. So I'm like, well, I'm thirsty. So I just grabbed a fucking thing of water, a jug of water, and I just fucking took off to the park. Once again in the car. Once again, I'm not the best at making decisions. I was scared to walk. Have my mother be like, why is he just walking to the park in the middle of the day? I was afraid to have people stop. And my father drove around in town a lot, and I didn't want to be on acid having my father ask what I'm doing with a jug of water walking to the park like a homeless man. So I got in my car. I fucking took off to the park. I got there. And I started walking around. It was very muddy. Not many people were there, so it was kind of nice. But it is insane to see everything, nature and everything, and you truly bask in it. They talk about LSD taking apart the filter from you. So you stop thinking about things that are alive and dead. You just start to see things as things. You're all there. There's no difference between you and a fish or you and anything else because you're all the same. You're all living. You're all going to die. It has a beginning and an end. It might feel, you can't prove that it doesn't. The same as objects in front of you. And so LSD starts to take away the barriers that you see between you. So like I as I'm walking through the woods, I see trees. I'm like, hello, trees. I go to take a piss, and I see a tree in front of me, and I touch a branch, and one droplet falls off. And I thought that was beautiful, and all of a sudden I hear. And all over the top of me, water droplets start to drop from that one droplet. From me deciding that I'm going to actively change one thing, 100,000 other droplets fell. Now, that seems inconsequential, and it is, I understand. But it's funny because it just shows the butterfly effect, especially to somebody tripping fucking balls. You think, I just chose to do one thing, and by that action, I've changed 100 things that I can never undo. Sure, they were just water droplets now, but what will they be in the future? What could they be that I could touch and all of a sudden falls down? I can never undo it. I remember walking through the woods and then seeing birds hopping on 2 feet. Very interesting, because at one point I'm like, hey, you can fly, bro. I'm asking, I'm like, hey, why are you hopping? You know? Just so odd to just see a bird just hop 30 feet and you're like, hey, just a little... You know, just take off real quick, bro. Just flutter your shit. Just pop on over. It's just crazy. I'd be flying everywhere. You could never stop me if I could fly. I'd probably trade my legs just to fly. I mean, yeah, that'd be fucking tight, dude. We could get, I could have, a wheelchair and I could go in for a landing. Oh, that'd be so cool. I'd be handicapped, so you'd have to move over, but, I'd have wings, so, I could have landing pads everywhere. Excuse me, this is handicap parking? Sir, this is a highway. And I'm like, I'm parking my plane. And it's just my fucking 12-foot long wingspan. Somebody hits me. I'm like, you bastard. And I just immediately get in a wheelchair. And I'm like, look what he did. I'm already in a wheelchair, but I'm just like, look what he did, you know. Get wings, remove legs. Write that down. Psychedelics were a fun time, though. It was the first time in a while that I was truly happy, too. But I think it was also partially from deciding to take that in my own hands. To give myself the first, you know what? I think I'm going to be happy today. Take it from me. You know? And then every day that you go to bed, that's a victory. Because you haven't died and you've been happy. It's really amazing. Like, and sometimes I get almost more sad that I'm happy because I think about all the time I missed out on. Which is an odd feeling, sure, but I think a lot of people have that, especially nowadays, because everything's so fucking boring. Once again, we go back to this theme of everything is so fucking boring that you have too much time to reflect. People need to have more thrown at them. And here's the thing, if we're in a society where things aren't really happening like that, and there's not enough to keep people entertained, that's the government's fault. The whole government from the top down in America has fucking failed at every level. But that is what it is. You can't tell anyone that. Because then they go, you're right. The Republicans and no, you've already fucking lost me. The Democrats, I had a guy tell me the other day, and he meant this poor fuck, he meant this. He goes, you know, the Democrats have the best on every argument. They have the moral high ground on every argument. They are correct on every argument. They have all the knowledge, but they can't get it right. It's because they don't fucking want to. You understand? Obama's friends with the bankers, okay? They deregulated the banks, okay? They don't care about anything. It's the same as anyone else. It's all about deep pockets. And sure, Republicans are more like the snake oil salesman. Sure, it's easier to see. But if you fucking think Nancy Pelosi is a good person, you're a cuck. Your wife gets fucked in front of you because you like Nancy Pelosi. Remember that, okay? And who cares? You know what? Fuck Nancy Pelosi. If you voted for anyone with the last name Paul, okay, you're a cuck. Okay? If you voted for anyone in a party, if you went to a voting booth, your wife gets fucked by men of opposite ethnicity, whatever it is. It's the reciprocal ethnicity, and they get fucked by them. That is my stance. That is Dummy's stance for 2020. Your wife gets fucked by other men if you vote. Remember that when you're in the booth. I was supposed to talk about things. I had a whole episode completely different. I didn't talk about having a wheelchair or anything. So this is truly a blessing. I'm glad I did this. This is better than anything else anyways. Yeah, get a wheelchair, get wings. Minus legs. Get a saw. I was thinking also on a few things too. Fuck, bro. I fucked up my back. God damn. I fucked up my back so bad this week, dude. Like, so bad. It's like pinched or some shit. Bro, it is not right. Is there some psychedelic that puts my shit back in place? Dude, I think I'm too skinny. Like, I need to gain more weight. Like, I'm like a bitch with an eating disorder in high school, and like those plastic chairs be giving them all bruises and shit. Damn. Fuck. But I was thinking about like parties and stuff. I was thinking about like birthdays and like especially with like thinking about the psychedelics and the overnights. I was thinking about the nights I had spent in my parents' like basement, like because that's where I spent most of my time. Look at me now. Imagine that. I spent most of my time in my parents' basement growing up. And so what would happen is like my buddies would come over and we'd stay up all night and drink Mountain Dew and play video games. And then whenever we turned 18, it was the same thing but with liquor and weed. And but I was also thinking about like other parties I had, like, or like, do you ever think about, I am such a social inept. I'm such a social inept. Like, it just, one time at my grad party, where my cousins were coming to give me money for graduating. Okay, they're nice people. They're great people. My mother was like grew up with them. Like, they're nice. They were like kind of like my mother's mom. My mother's oldest sister was a lot older than her, so like whenever she had kids young, they were kind of the same age as my mother. But so I invite them Dude, I was introducing them. I named off everyone. I'm like, this is Alan, this is Jacob, this is, and this is, and like, I just skipped over their name. Like, I just, like, just right over their name. Right, what am I doing? You know, what is that? And instead of saying their name, I couldn't remember their name for the life of me. And I'm introducing my girlfriend at the time to these people who are like, this guy doesn't know me. I mean, these are the people giving me money that are now hate me. I'm not the party guy. And I used to like to party. I thought I like getting fucked up. I don't really like partying, you know. I mean, everyone likes getting fucked up. I'm convinced of that. If you think you don't, you just haven't found the right thing to get fucked up on. Bring a mask for you fucks, okay? But God damn it, what was I talking about, dude? Oh, everyone's got their crack, okay? Everyone's got something. If you think to yourself, you go, I don't have any drug that, like if your friends were having a family gathering or like a get together, there's no drug that you could do that would ruin it, you know? And that's because, but that's the thing is that you do though. You just don't know. It's probably crack or meth or something or cocaine or whatever you'd like sell a kid for. You don't even, you don't know. But everyone has that one. Everyone's got a biological itch. Even if you haven't ever fed it, even if you never stumbled upon the great god of Adderall, okay? It doesn't mean your body doesn't want it, okay? You just don't know it. It's funny. Especially Adderall, dude. Adderall is like girls that want to get laid on their birthday type of drug. It's like chicks that go out and they're like, I'm getting dick tonight. And they're like, oh my god, calm down. You are so wild. You are crazy. And she's like, I'm getting dick tonight, no matter if I have to rip it off a fucking statue. And I go, oh my god, nobody think this bitch to the Smithsonian. Oh my god. It's, yeah, getting laid on your birthday, women are really a type of person. It's odd. It's weird. I mean, I don't blame them, especially from a guy's perspective. I get being like, I want to get laid tonight. But, like, a guy always has to set it up. You always have to set up beforehand. Like, you have to have a girlfriend. You have to have a girl you're talking to. You can't just be like, I'm going to get some ass tonight. And they're like, hell yeah, bro, from who? And he's like, I don't even know yet. She don't even know yet. It's like, what? You gotta go to the bar and just find some, that's just so rough. Like, I couldn't, and like, I don't think a guy, I mean, maybe guys expect that, but I couldn't imagine expecting to get laid. I mean, I did go out to the bars alright, I'm wrong. No, I did go out to the bars every weekend expecting to get laid, but just such an odd thing. Because especially with women, I think it's more odd because, and maybe this is the heart of it, but maybe I'm retarded. None of this is true and nothing matters, but maybe it's that women can get laid. Most girls, if they go up in the club, the ugliest woman can fuck 10% of the dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the ugliest chick can find 10%. Now, she probably ain't picking out Jacques. You know what I'm saying? She ain't finding young Jacques in the club. But she might be hitting on your man Darren. You know what I'm saying? There might be a dude named, like, like, I don't know, you know, your buddy Alex might get some ass, you know? And so, like, it's not gonna be motherfucking Zac Efron, you know? Which apparently is still hot to people, which kind of frustrates me, but it's fine. Girls that get laid on their birthday will wake up, and the first thing they'll tell you will be how many children they have, their drug of choice, and and that they don't know where their phone is. I knew a dude one time that he like had this chick. She would always be like, I love you. She'd like call him by his nickname. Whenever a bitch start calling you by your nickname, you're in trouble, bro. If you don't know it, I'm telling you now. If a bitch start calling you by your nickname, you're in trouble, boss. That's not good. Okay? They're coming for you, bro. They want you, bro. So she starts calling him by his nickname. She's doing all the shit in the club, buying him shots, doing crazy shit. Like, bitches buying people shots. It's like, oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she trying to get me drunk? Like, I don't feel safe. And sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll stop that. I will stop that. But so then they finally like fuck, and she wakes up in his bed, and she's like, I don't know what she says to him, like, hey, good morning, hi, whatever. And he goes, where's my fucking jewel? And she goes, what? And he goes, where's my fucking jewel? He started yelling at her. Like, it's insane. It's just so, like, because that's the type of guys that you go home with if you look up at the bar. Like, the people who will, like, kill over a jewel. You understand? God bless that woman. She's happy now. Yeah. If you want to get laid on your birthday, figure it out a month before. Okay? Have some lady come into town for your birthday, do something, hit up an old friend, figure it out. Okay? But don't go to the bar and get some, like, or I'll tell you what, if a chick has on a birthday sash, don't go home. Go home. Go home. She has other men she could fuck. If there's a bitch in a birthday sash, she has 3 men in her phone already asking her to fuck because of the picture she put on Snapchat, okay? You are not going to be the first man tonight. You might not be the last man tonight. You don't know if tomorrow's her actual birthday, and that's when she's getting down. You might have just caught this bitch at pregame. You going to fall in love with this bitch on her birthday? Figure out tomorrow's her birthday? Just like, oh, I got to go blow out some candles. For what? You turn another year already? Did I fall asleep for a year? No. Today's my birthday. Oh. So now you're going to go out to the club again and get some... Well, it is my birthday. Okay, then. All right. That's how it is. It's life. I've been seeing some stuff. There's a lot of alternative media nowadays. It is odd how much... It's not odd, but it's crazy how much media there is to consume. There's just so much shit. You could never stop. Like, you just... Everything is just like... You just get the dopamine rush until it's done, and you're just beating your brain's metaphorical dick. And it's just, like, mushed up and sad, and you're not going to get any enjoyment out of it. You're just playing the 3000th podcast of some guy that is familiar, and it's probably never me, and that's okay. But there's so much media to consume that it's hard to understand what's good or bad. So I get whenever people critique the Charlie vs. Dixie D'Amelio Snap show. I get it. I get what people are saying. They think it's not enough. Not enough. Did you know that the D'Amelios, whichever team wins, so basically, okay, they're donating to charity $50,000. So Charlie and Dixie actually like compete head to head, and the opposing orphanages that they're going to like donate it to watches. And as every time one of them loses a challenge, one of the orphans' lights get blacked out, and at the end they watch them all just burn in the orphanage that they were come from, and the other guys get new playground. So that's the Snap show. They're competing. It's obviously I jest, but it's one of those things that's like, what the fuck are they doing? They're competing for $50,000. How much are they How much are they making? Like, it's so funny how like little fucking money that is. Like, I get it, sure, it would probably change my life, but I don't know how much. I'd probably just throw it in retirement and just hope for the best. That's still hoping I get to 60. I won't. Look at me. You've heard all the things I've said on here. I won't. I'm gonna probably I'll go through a fugue state of some sort before I fucking reach 60. By God. I've broken by the age of 24? Yeah, so like, what the fuck? I'm gonna just break in half. That's right, I'm not even a teenager. I know this looks like the body of a teen. It's not. But it is also funny too, because like, they say they're like $50,000 go to the charity of our choice, and they're saying it like they're not being paid. Like they're donating all the $50,000 they would make. It's like, bro, they would make so much more than $50,000 fucking dollars. It's ridiculous. Like, it's a dumb fucking thing. It's just hilarious to turn on Snapchat and have them be like, people can't sell pot on here anymore. That's bad. However, we do have dystopian hellscape entertainment. Do what you will. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? There's also a lot of fun, like, dystopian entertainment, as well as, I know one that I've covered extensively, Cucks. I enjoy that. I remember my dad telling me his favorite scene on there. There was a man who was drunk and riding on some sort of tractor, and he was alongside the road. the cop had basically been called and been told that the guy had some sort of alcoholic beverage and was swerving, which I mean it just all seems like a slow turn. You're just turning if you're going that slow. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, oh shit, all of a sudden I'm over here. Like, no, you just like meander back over. It's not, you don't like, because even if you're going like this, your tractor's still only going fast enough that you're just doing this a little bit. It doesn't change anything. So he got called. My dad would just tell me about the story and just laugh his ass off. And he'd be like, and that's when they came over and like, get off the lawnmower. And he'd be like, no. And so then they'd shoot him with the fucking shits, and then with the fucking taser, and then he'd fucking like piss himself on the lawnmower and fall off the ground, and they'd like have to take the keys out of the lawnmower like a motorcycle, which it is funny, but it was just one of those things that I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's one of those things that like you assume that it's okay because adults watch it, and then you get to be about an adult age and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. No one stopped that. People are like, yeah, we're just putting people getting arrested on TV. That's crazy. That's crazy as fuck. That shouldn't have ever happened. We shouldn't have started that. There was two kids that were relatively near me. They were a state or two over, probably an hour or two away. But these men had gotten together and made a decision. They had enough, and they decided to kill their Spanish teacher. Crazy. Why would you do that? Your Spanish teacher? Sure, they're just people that decide. Okay, listen. If you teach Spanish and you're not Mexican or a fucking conquistador of some sort, if you're not a goddamn Spaniard, okay? What are you teaching Spanish for? Okay, I'm not a guy for cultural appropriation. I don't believe in much cultural appropriation. I don't think there's much you could steal if you learn about something you like it that much. Like, obviously, like, don't fucking pull your eyes to the side and fucking show your teeth and be weird. You know, if you just like fireworks, just like fireworks. You don't have to be that weird about it and like imitate the people who made them, you know? It is what it is. But the white person who hears Spanish and thinks, I want my life to be spreading this. Something's not right with them. Something's just not 100% there, okay? If you hear a foreign language and you go, my life is complete, check into some sort of treatment center, okay? It's not that fucking, you don't hear Spanish and you go, this is what I was missing. No, don't. What does that even mean? That's crazy. I had a few weird ones. We had a very nice guy, who was a substitute. He had a European cut. He had a little bit of a chub to his stomach, but he was a nice man. Always wore shorts, never khakis, never cargos, and that's respectable for a man, especially in 2014. He didn't have to make that decision in 2014. He really did not. My buddy Jake and I, he was one of our favorite substitutes. Well, I'd say truly Jake's. Jake really liked him a lot. He was obsessed with him. I love that man. I think he got like an autograph of some sort from him. For not many people were asking for them, so that was just some sort of significance. But that guy ended up being alright. I think he ended up going back to Spain, and he's hanging out there now, I imagine. I saw him around town once or twice, but I imagine he goes back. He sincerely loved it there, and he had been there twice, so it's not like anything was stopping him. But there's also the other side of things. We had a young... I'm sipping mask, bitch. We had a young teacher, and she was very nice. She was very pretty. She couldn't have been much more than 25. And I remember she came in, and I was like, yo. So, like, I was like, what's your name? And then she's like, tells me her name. I'm like, no, your first name. Like, you know, so she had came in, and basically we had kids that, like, in most classes I was in, like, advanced classes, and I'm not saying this to brag, because there's a lot of people in advanced classes that you'd look at and you would genuinely say, are they not retarded from afar? So sometimes you'd be like, is this special ed? Is this advanced? Like, you couldn't tell really, and that's how most of it is. You see some people and, like, are they like savants? You know, you're not sure. But so I was in mostly advanced classes, and so some of the times that I would get to see some fun stuff was the classes that were with everyone. Health class was one, band was another, lunch, gym, and Spanish. Spanish had everyone. You can start taking Spanish whenever. I didn't take a foreign language till junior year. So I got put in a freshman class so basically they bullied her. She didn't come back. And good decision on her part. But eventually she came back like a year and a half later, because they were so desperate for teachers that they just were like, sure, whatever, just come back, I guess. Good on her. Glad she has a job. There was another lady, though. One lady, I don't want to say her name. I'm sure she's in the paper somewhere. Her name was reminiscent of Langolier. You understand? So, Miss Langolier, she had a dog. And it was a dog that was very skinny. It had, like, hips that you could see almost the boniness of. It was a little odd. But she would take the dog in with her everywhere she went. And she would say it's her therapy dog of some sort, or like her, whatever you say, like Dr. Dog or whatever the fuck they do now. So, like, she'd bring her fucking therapy dog around, and people would be like, I don't know what the fuck she needs that for. And some people would be like, she does this, whatever. Like, she has seizures, she has PTSD, her husband used to beat her, whatever, blah, blah. So, we would be like in Spanish class talking about stuff, and people would be like trying to give the dog beef jerky and bullshit, and she'd be like, don't give my dog beef jerky. Like, she'd be freaking out. She'd be like, don't give my dog beef jerky. She would be so fucking mad. She was like Cartman with Kitty, and she just couldn't get it. That kids are just gonna fuck with you because you're fucking weird. She was one of those people too that, like, you could tell they became a teacher to help children, but truly it's just a selfish thing where they want to relive high school and try to fix what fucked them up, and they'll never be able to, because you're still a fucking loser. You never fixed it, you know? You just went back to the issue. So she would often get picked on a lot, the teacher would, and the people would try to pet the dog, everything. People started to really like the dog. You see, this dog would never growl. It would keep its head down. It would eat and take when given, and be petted when it was given as well. It wouldn't beg for any attention. It was the perfect person, you see? And Miss Langolier was the opposite. She was rude, she was uncourteous, she didn't care much about other people, she didn't understand why other people were doing what they were doing. She had some sort of tism, I imagine. And so, one day, we were all just sitting there talking, and somebody had said something, and I think she goes, did somebody say something? I don't remember, goddammit, but basically at one point she implied, like, openly in front of people, she was like, oh, if anyone's bombing the school. And I was like, heh. That was the first time I felt well. Second time I felt unsafe at school. Miss Langolier with her dog. And this dog, eventually it would come to a head where she would be yelling at the dog for talking to students, and people would be like, hey, you better back off, motherfucking lassie, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would be like, you better fucking not do that shit. We don't yell at your dog like that, bro. People are dumb like that too, where they're like, they're gonna be like, I'll fight you over this. I'll assault a teacher over a dog. You think I give a fuck, bro? Like, they don't understand. It's not a life moral. There's not an Aesop's fable about how to treat your dog. Okay, but it is what it is. It is what it is. They're fun people. She eventually got fired. It wasn't anything to do with her making vague bomb threats. I think it was just there was constantly, like, kids being like, I don't know, dude, I heard she got in trouble. And it's like, how would you know that? And, like, my mom called 3 times the other day. It's like, that's rough. especially like the kids who are like really nerdy and weird that like their moms would never call. It's like, oh man, motherfucking Deb got in on their ass. You know what I'm saying? Or like somebody's dad. There's also been a lot of turmoil this week as well. Travis Scott. He had some sort of incident with people being crushed. It's interesting. See a lot of videos, and it looks bad. It truly does look bad. It looks like somebody is probably going to be held responsible legally and probably financially. I imagine there's going to be a lot of suing. Seemed like there was a lot of people that were like hurt. And so you see that and you think, that's terrible. I hope somebody gets that figured out. I hope that's not an issue. I mean, it is obviously 8 people fucking died. So there's families that are mourning. But also amongst the mourning are the Facebook accounts that I get to see. And there's a lot of fun ones. And some of the takes on some of these things are truly astronomically hilarious. For example, one lady went on detailed and extensively talked about how Slipknot and other headbangers have been way harder into mosh pits than Travis Scott, and he didn't invent it. Okay? It's way more brutal. In Slipknot, nobody dies. They died at Travis Scott's because they're gay. They died at Travis Scott's because they're wimpy twigs. What are you saying? Like, they died at Travis Scott's because they sinned. Or their parents sinned against God. Like, I don't know. Like, you're just making things up. Like, it just doesn't... You can't... It's just so weird. And people are like, well... The other side... Somebody else was like, well... I know at mosh pits... I know in mosh pits, it is always customary to pick somebody up. So whenever you knock somebody down in a mosh pit, at least at a metal show, and not Travis Seymour Scott, okay? Travis S. S is for Satan, also Scott. Who cares? Who cares? What is... Like, you watch these videos of people literally under piles of bodies, people storming through gates and trampling other people, and it's like, pick them up! Pick them up! No one's saying pick him up. They're saying he's having a seizure. What do you want him to pick him up off the ground from the seizure? That would... What in mosh pits, it's customary to always pick up your buddy and resuscitate them. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, there is shit in mosh pits where, like, people, like, get their eyes knocked out of their socket. But that's, like, blunt force trauma, and you're running at people, and people know that's happening. It's retarded still. It's stupid as fuck still. But the shit at Travis Scott was more of an issue of, like, 1, safety, and 2, I can't imagine there was much scope out there as far as, like, everything what's been going on. Like there just should have been more space, and that's just the end of it. I'm sure somebody will get held accountable. It's whatever. I've also been seeing the really fun Free Travis movement, which he's not in jail. So congratulations, you won. But yeah, negligence on somebody's part at the least. I mean, maybe rich people don't go to jail anymore, right? Right? God damn, I'm king of segues. Rich people don't go to jail anymore, right? Like, could you imagine for a second? Imagine living out every Midwestern Republican's dream. Imagine living out every Republican's dream. Okay? And you gotta pick up a gun and shoot 2 fucking people in self-defense. You pick up a gun and you go, pop, 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 while they're running at you. while they're running at you, you get on them down. They fall to the ground. They look up and they go, and they go, Antifa won't die with me. And you go, it just did. And then you gun them down or whatever, you know. You live every Republican's dream. And then you get on national television and cry like a bitch. Dude. He gets to live the fucking Republican dream. And then he fucking goes on national television in front of 12 of his peers and cries like a bitch. Just doesn't, like, I mean, whatever, but, like, god damn it, man. You know? Like, it's just so funny that this guy finally got to do. This is what he's fantasized about. That's what he fantasized about all those times he was shooting at the range. All those times he was with whatever father figure, grandparent, whoever, shooting down range. He was thinking about those motherfuckers running at him. And he finally lined up the goddamn shot and put some fucking lead in him. And now he's crying like a bitch. That's the only thing he's ever aspired to be. You think this fucker wanted to be an engineer? Huh? You think he wanted to be a fucking mechanic? Huh? You think auto body shop is what he aspired for? Or you think that's where he settled? Look at him. This man looks like a fucking bratwurst. He's a rosy-cheeked, just meatball. He's greasy. He's odd-looking. He looks like a giant pimple himself. It is what it is. But it's crazy to see people just start fucking end up just, because, like, here's the thing. In every other context, every other time, what would happen is this shit would happen, and he's gonna get acquitted. Is where this is going. They're not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. He's not gonna end up getting any jail time. And the reason is because people, one, have a hard time separating what's legal and what's right. So people will be like, well, he killed 2 people, he should go to jail. People kill people all the time and they go to jail. Well, yeah, but that's not the exchange. That's not the exchange that was made. The exchange was that he was found guilty of a law in the United States and was then sent to jail. If there was no law saying you can't kill people, no one can get you sent to jail. All the trial is for is to prove that you killed people. So they have to be able to convict him of things specifically and not have it be self-defense. All of these small things. Now here's the part of it that I don't get. Hundred years ago, we would have had one guy have this happen. We would have changed the law, and then this wouldn't fucking happen again. But instead, we're just going to have a bunch of fucking discourse, absolutely no points made, people on both sides of the aisle, which it might flip because Republicans think Kyle's a sobbing bitch, which is funny. If Republicans start coming out and they're like, he's a child, I'm going to fucking shit my pants with laughter. Which, not to say that I'm not a liberal, and I think liberals are dumb fucking cucks who have been bought out by whoever. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying I'm not partial. Okay, I don't fucking vote. Okay, but we could just have a law change of this. One guy gets away with it. No one ever gets away with it ever again. But instead, that will never happen because we can't agree on anything, and no one's gonna have anything like that done. It's fucking ridiculous. You would change gun laws, maybe. You would maybe change wording on things. Maybe you would make things more specific so people get in trouble for certain things. Maybe you could make it so that school shootings hold accountable fathers and parents. Oh, but does one guy go to jail first? Yeah. The same way that he doesn't. The same way that Kyle doesn't. And then we can change the law. But that's the thing people won't get, and the law won't change, and no one will learn anything, because they'll be like, he should be able to have guns, and if somebody's running at you more than 5 kilometers an hour, that suggests they're pretty fast, and probably some sort of minority that should be put down. Like, it's just like, what are we talking about? Like, nothing fucking helps. We don't make any progress in this country because we're all fucking bumbling idiots. Fucking ridiculous. It's alright, though. I think we'll live. And truly, who cares? Hey, if Kyle Rittenhouse goes to jail or not, it won't affect you. And if it does, I'll feel that'll be funny, that'll be hilarious, and that will probably be something to do with the next podcast. Because I will let you know when I am right. if I am ever right about something, I'll let you guys know, and it'll be recorded forever. All right. Oh shit. Thanks for listening this week, dummies. I know I was a little in-depth, a little wild in a few places going in, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, sincerely. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the microphone, dummy. This sounds so much better. Even the quality listening already is great. I'm very, very excited. We have probably about an hour of stuff to go through, so that'll be the whole pod. I know some of the camera missed on some parts of it, but it is what it is. I appreciate you, dummies. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. You guys are my fucking favorite.